Woohoo! All right. Learn to code. Learn to code. We're going to learn to code today. We are streaming live on the YouTube. Uh, I got a link for you. If you're having trouble viewing it from here for whatever reason, you can always comment on the tube. Um, and we are ideating today. We are brain dumping today. We are starting to build an app, working as a team to figure out what this app is going to look like. And what app is it? Um, what app won the results of our ranked choice voting is the executive function app. Take the pressure off our partners, helps guide you, slash eases executive function, burnout based on how you're feeling and what you have left to do for the day. Adjust if today you are sad, learns based on what does and doesn't work, AI powered and can text you. Okay, thoughtful suggestion. I don't know who suggested this. I'm just the facilitator. But whoever suggested it, great suggestion. It's so great that it won the vote. So great that it's what we're going to build. And I feel like this is topical because we were talking about it a lot during job stand up. We're going to talk about executive function today, an executive dysfunction, maybe. Something that I struggle with. I don't, like I was actually going to wear a suit and tie as like a little joke on executive function, and then I realized I don't want to wear a suit and tie, and I didn't, so I didn't I'm not executive functioning correctly, but we're here, and the tone is that of we're gonna get a little bit like abstract, intuitive with our goal setting with this app here, and we're also we're going to set up some votes as far as what this app should be. I wanted to put up a couple guardrails that are like democratized, because with the last couple apps, I feel like the foundations of the apps, I build them myself, and then we get ideas from people, and I wanted the group to feel like y'all have more of a say in the ideation phase and in the actual process of creating the foundation of this thing. Also, because frankly, based off of the suggestion, I feel like this is somewhat of an open-ended application, and I personally need a bit of direction on how to even build this thing, right? So, yeah, we had three rounds within the ranked choice voting. So we know how the ranked choice votes work now, right? If something gets more than half of the entire vote spread, sorry, gotta let my dog out. If something gets more than 50% of the entire vote spread as the people's first choice, that's gonna win, right? If there's no clear winner based off of first choices, then you go to a second round, and you're taking out the lowest choice votes, right? Are eliminating the lowest choice votes. So you repeat until something has a majority. This one took 3 rounds to win. That means it was close between the choices we have. Those choices get put back into future weeks suggestions. So if we're not building the app that you wanted to build this week, we can always build it next week. But yeah, a little bit of a discussion moment. This ranked choice voting application. I guess I wanted to kind of pick y'all's brains and Why do you think that this one won? And I'll put the results here. Why do you think this executive function app won the ranked choice vote? There's no wrong answers. Feel free to answer in text or mic up if you're on campus. Oh, somebody's saying because not many people voted this week. Yeah, seems like a foundational benefit and resistance against attention diffusion. All right, so for the first one, not many people voted this week. Not many people voted this week. And that does happen, you know? So we had 4 votes, 4 ballots come in. The link gets posted to everyone on Monday. People from the YouTube, people from campus, people from the Matrix channel, they can all vote. So if you're worried that your voice isn't being heard in this democratized Learn to Code class where we build apps throughout the week, get in there, get in the polls before they close, because it is what we're going to be building within the week. It is a foundational benefit. Attention diffusion, right? It's an app that would help keep one on track to build more apps and keep adding to that portfolio. Yes, that is a good answer. So it's this idea that the app itself can help us to build more apps. It's a positive sort of feedback loop that we're setting up, stacking benefits. Yeah, we had somebody in the class that was talking about deadlock. And I don't just want to talk about deadlock because I play deadlock. I'm a Bebop main. I also think insofar as the topic of executive function and executive dysfunction, gaming addiction is a real thing. And these MOBAs, as they're called, really set up the brain to get addicted to a game because the matches themselves can be, 45 minutes to an hour. Dota, I've seen matches go to like 2 hours before, right? But when we talk about stacking benefits, this is like the magical item in those games, those RPGs, that the more you have of it, the higher damage it does, or the more powerful it becomes, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Bebop main, so if you want to play together, we could play together after class. But again, we're building an executive function app to help us with not falling into our whatever. All right. I will say that if you can come up with benefits to the game and you give yourself an allotted time limit, gaming can be cool. Gaming can be a great way to recontextualize leadership skills, teamwork, critical thinking skills, right? So, but gaming addictions, these dopamine addictions, they're everywhere. All of the internet is set up to kind of take our attention as a resource. So yeah, all valid answers for why this app won, right? So we got the executive function app that's going right now. So I wanted to kind of walk through this text, right? Did I just close that for the winning app? So the person said, executive function app that takes the pressure off of our partners, helps guide you / ease executive function burnout based on how you're feeling and what you have left to do. Adjust if today you're sad, learns based on what does and doesn't work, AI powered, and can text you. We are going to kind of become the the AI, the LLM, if you will, and like tokenize this sort of suggestion, and try to distill what we're being asked of this app suggestion, right? This is the actual text from the winning submission, right? I think the pitch is solid, right? Because it kind of gives us this thesis, this problem statement that when we're building apps, it's the stuff that makes a good suggestion, right? We have the what, we have the who, we have the how, we have the what's different about this app, and then how it reaches you, you know? So what, who, how, what's different, how it reaches you. So what is it? It's an executive function application. All right. Abstract concept, but it's objective in that just executive function app. That's what we have, right? Who is it for, right? This is kind of this gets a little bit more abstract, right? It takes the pressure off our partners. This is actually the emotional core of this application suggestion statement, I think. So it's less about your executive function and more about the person who is the I don't want to say victim, but who bears the brunt of your executive dysfunction, right? The person who has to remind you, the person who has to check on you, the person who has to ask if you did the thing, right? This could be like any sort of relationship. Partner, could be any sort of partner, right? And then what does it do? It helps guide you, ease executive function, burnout. It's based on how you're feeling and what you have left to do. This is pretty, self-explanatory. How is it different is where we get into sort of this realm of like, now we're building a nuanced app, right? It adjusts if today you're sad. So that to me, and maybe it's different for y'all, but that to me is kind of the differentiator, right? Most planners, most sort of like mental health applications, they treat every day the same, right? So like if you got a bad sleep last night, then today's Tuesday, like, and you got a bad sleep last night, it's going to treat today's Tuesday the same as Monday, where you may have gotten a good sleep. But the truth of the matter is that every day is different. Every person is different. So we need some sort of like dynamic functionality to this application. And how does it reach you? These are things that we could decide as we're building the app. But in the suggestion, word by word from the winning pitch, it can text you. It's AI powered, right? This is interesting because, first of all, this is going to be a complicated build, right? I don't want to scare anybody or bum anyone out, but we're going to get into the sort of I see a hand up in the audience. Did you want to say something, James? Or are you just stretching? Okay. So it can text you. You don't have to. The whole point. Notifications. You don't have to remember to open it, right? We don't want to spam the user, but this is a design choice that I think is definitely worth unpacking here. Earlier in the job stand-up, we had James show us their portfolio. Beautiful portfolio, has a book consultation button on the portfolio, which if any of you are working on a portfolio website, highly encourage the consultation booking mechanism, right? This could be good for like, an extra couple $100 depending on what your clientele is like. And everybody has something that they can consult on. I had an experience yesterday where I had vibe coded a specific page of my own, where I had a book consultation button that led to a Google Calendar. You know, connected it with a Google, you know, console, whatever. You know, I set up the sort of connection to my Google Calendar, but I did not have any way for my calendar to notify me that an appointment was made. And so I missed the appointment that somebody had scheduled yesterday. And this is a true story. This is executive dysfunction, right? But now we're in this place of like learning to code. We use the AI to set up systems to make our lives easier, to organize our consultations. But we missed the part of the loop where we are notified of this consultation appointment. So this, how does it reach you? While it may seem like kind of innocuous, the way that the application notifies its users, reminds its users to use the application, is a very, very important design choice, right? This is a fundamental design choice. Otherwise, you could have situations where the user has you know, just a faulty experience with the application itself, right? So, um, yeah, take the pressure off of our partners. This is another thing I kind of wanted to discuss with the group. I want to let it breathe a little bit because I think when people see partners, their heads go to specific places. But I also, the pitch won the vote, so it resonated enough with people that, you know, taking pressure off your partners could be a problem statement worth building an application for, right? So why do I think this resonated enough to win the vote, right? And so the way that I'm looking at this, take the pressure off our partners, it could mean romantic partners, right? Spouses, you know, partners, situationships, if you will, polycules. But it could also be like people that hold you accountable to your executive function, right? Roommates, parents, coworkers, any direct sort of relationship that you have, anyone who ends up picking up the slack when your executive function is not finely tuned, anyone who becomes the reminder system for you. Like this application is taking the pressure off of them. This application should, in a way, become them, right? So yeah, what does this mean to the class, right? When they see take the pressure off their partners, building an application to take pressure off of your partners. Uh, I feel like I want to let y'all share what you think about this because it is, like, to be honest, it's a little bit confusing to me in building this application. So remember, we're building this together, we're brainstorming together, we're ideating together. What does take the pressure off our partners mean to you?
All different kinds of partners, correct? Well, I've learned, being a polyamorous person yourself, there's different types of pressures, and it can be emotional, it can be mental. But I think the biggest pressure for like another person would be like worry. And if someone is like constantly worried about you, I think that's one of the silent um, like killers of a lot of relationships, is making like their you having stress, and then they mirroring that stress, and then they're both wearing each other out. So um taking pressure off of a partner would be like making something that would make me feel at ease, even though what I'm going through is difficult and it is a struggling time, but something that can at least make me feel a little bit confident enough to be like, this sucks, but I believe we can do this. And being able to give that kind of um, relief to the partner where they're like, well, even if things aren't great, like they have confidence, so it instills me with confidence too.
Yeah, yeah. I think that uh, it's like we work with direct relationships in our lives. Like I understand the kind of like uh, the drift towards introspection for developers, coders, computery people, right? But this is a group-based learn to code class. We are working together. Like oh,
You're muted.
we are all partners. Sorry, I'm muted in the campus, not muted on YouTube. My bad. We are all partners on this. We are all working together, right? So, what I was talking about is there's this drift towards introspection. I feel like for developers, coders, this sort of isolated criteria for getting work done, right? I need to like go into like goblin mode and go into my hole and code this entire app by myself. Um, and the importance, I think also the definition of partners uh, uh, is, you know, it's far reaching in that it could be like our roommates, it could be the direct relationships, the people that hold us accountable. But thinking about when you're vibe coding too, not to like psychotically anthropomorphize Claude or anything, which I have done in this class before, and I apologize for that. I have stopped telling Claude that I love him when he does a good job or when they do a good job. I have stopped doing that, you know. But yeah, I think that you know we're offloading a lot of this sort of partner based or group based accountability to artificial intelligence, to systems already, right? So how does an application effectively allow you to hold yourself accountable to your goals in a way that doesn't sort of conjure up this sycophantic relationship to the machine. So, anyways, a lot to unpack there, and just like solid food for thought as we roll closer to this part of class where we're going to start voting and creating this app together. So executive function. I'm not a doctor, all right? I'm not a licensed doctor, although I do play one on vertical K drama. Try to find it. You probably won't. But no, I want to keep this casual, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. Executive function, kind of a buzzy word, maybe more like 2024, 2025, right? Uh, I I love a solid self help personal development book. And I think it's important to look at the skill of like regulating your emotions, because executive function gets worse when you're tired, stressed, sad, burnt out. And I feel like there's a lot of like just horrible like manosphere like grindcore content out there that's like uh God, what's his name? Like Gary V, you know, just go to a garage sale, find a lamp, sell the lamp for $20, take that $20, buy 5 lamps, sell those lamps for $100. You're not rich because you don't sell things from garage sales to other people. Like buy my NFT, buy my coursework, buy this PDF where I'm talking about how to buy PDFs. Like I don't know. Anyways, we're not doing that. But there's a lot of content out there that will just lead you down this rabbit hole of if you're somebody who's like working on looking at your own self development, personal development, just looking at your own emotional regulation. The internet and applications in general can be this super scary place. And very very predatory energy coming from some of the like personal development gurus and the people out there who just really want to at the end of the day take your money. Not to be like too cynical about it. Anyways, executive function gets worse when you're in these moments of like getting close to burnout, right? In the recovery community in AA, they talk about halt, which is like something to remember, like when you're more vulnerable to this like executive dysfunction. Uh, HALT is an acronym for hungry, angry, lonely, tired, right? And everything can be simplified by a little acronym, mnemonic device, or whatever. But yeah, did you remember to eat food before you drank, two iced coffees and smoked a spliff? Like, did you remember to call that person that you forgot to return something to, or remind your friend that maybe you don't want to go out tonight because it's your mom's birthday tomorrow and you have to remember to get her a gift? Or lonely, like when's the last time you went and hung out with somebody in person? And I do think loneliness can be alleviated somewhat by virtual presence. But uh, just going out into public spaces sometimes can really just like fill your cup in that way. And then tired's gonna be huge. I think there's this like weird like the like Uberman or whatever, the like we only need 4 hours of sleep. I wake up at 6 a.m. and I get all my work done before 10 a.m. That's my first day, and then from 10 to 3 p.m. I put in another day of work. That's 2 days. And then from 3 to 11 I put in another day of work. And it's like, no, dude, you didn't live 3 days. You're gonna burn yourself out, and you're gonna end up like just, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not a doctor again, but there's a lot of just like gnarled content that at the end of the day, your body, your brain, like your passion and your interest better than anyone. An application isn't going to tell this to you for you. A YouTube video is not going to tell you this for you. A audiobook's not going to tell you this for you, right? So when it comes to executive function, we're not so much telling people what they need to do, but helping them navigate to where they need to be in order to function, right? It's a distinct sort of difference, right? So uh, I want everyone's brain to get into the space of like we're building this thing together, right? And we have to executive function on what executive function is, right? So I think for me, where I see this a lot is like, and this is something I kind of want to open up to discussion. Have you ever known exactly what you needed to do, but couldn't make yourself do it? Have we had this experience? And feel free to mic up or post in the box.
Be one of the most infuriating feelings, especially like when you're in a bed and you've like put your screens down. You're like, I know I have to do this thing. I know I have to do it. It has to be done, whether it's by my past self, my future self, or now self. I do it, and it's just that one, like, you got to take that one step, and it's just like trying to ascend Mount Everest. Yeah, I've experienced it.
Yeah, yeah. I think like we sometimes like we're focusing on the task that needs doing so much that it like triggers this like uh this almost like fear, this like hyper focus on something Um, and I do it a lot with like little like bureaucratic things. Like right now, I need to. I got like a fix it ticket, right? Um, and I need to go to the police department and show them that I fixed it, right? But that is like the last thing I want to do, right? Um, Basically, everyone's like experienced this problem of knowing exactly what they've needed to do, and they just couldn't. This isn't even like I mean, I don't want to. I'm neurodivergent. A lot of us are in this class, but this feeling is not even neurodivergent. This is like a pretty freaking typical experience of having a brain, right? Um, and it's like it's worth it when we're building this app to think about this as like sort of the concrete problem, even though it is abstract in a sense, because we want to design for this problem. So think about those experiences that you've had. I see people posting, breaking it down into different steps. What's the best way to eat an elephant? Cut it into pieces or whatever. Don't eat elephants. But yeah, I feel like thinking about this question, making this problem concrete, thinking about what does that stuck feeling actually feel like, what has successfully broken the logjam for you, and what makes it worse, right? Yeah, like whatever, what works for you, I guess, is a good place to also think about. We're building this app together, so if you have kind of cleared that logjam before, uh, does anyone in the class remember what has like gotten them unstuck? It's kind of a hard question, I know, but if anyone wants to chime in, what gets you unstuck?
It's and I told myself today, I tell myself this is a layup moment, and try to write layups in my notebooks to where if I'm getting the benefit of something that a past self did did for me, I have to acknowledge that I was able to do it because of that layup. And so I try to build up like that karmic feedback loop where it's like, I know this absolutely sucks, but you got to lay it up. So at least do something and to start it to where I can pick it up in the future and be like, hey, I appreciate you laying it up to me. Like I got the rest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that that sort of like almost like visualization. You could use like any sort of analogous activity. A layup is a layup, like something that works for your brain. Um, kind of. Somebody in the chat is saying each time make it easier, simpler. Just let myself lay down that day with the deal that tomorrow we are doing it. Yeah, sometimes putting things off can work. For me, it's like if I'm putting something off, that's the first indicator that I need to do it. Um, but not everything can be done. Sometimes our blockers are we have dependencies on somebody else getting us information, waiting until the money gets in our bank account, or we get a call from this one person, or we get clearance to do this one thing, we get a green light on this one thing. Um, so I feel like it's really easy to kind of like turn like letting yourself off the hook into not doing it tomorrow and letting yourself off the hook tomorrow and on and on and on. but like getting unstuck, right? Uh, Alyssa Liu. I'm gonna bring up Alyssa Liu because I think they have like a really good response to and I probably brought them up in class before because you know ice skating's tight and the Olympics are tight, and Alyssa Liu is just a solid motivational energy, right? Um, but yeah, in an answer to a question, somebody's like how do you get over like the stress of like the performance anxiety of being out there on the ice, like how the fear of failure, and they're like, I have the opportunity to go out and do something that I love in front of people that like support and love me, right? And so kind of shaping uh, the stress of your situations into like having the opportunity to perform in front of people in an arena that you made the choice to perform in, right? And now that doesn't channel well to all stressful situations. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do, that don't feel like opportunities, that no matter how you work it, um, aren't there's no like lesson to unpack, there's no fun thing to unpack in it, like that for me is this idea of like going to the cop station to be like, here's my fix it ticket and the car's fixed or whatever. Like I don't have the opportunity to do that, right? But that feeling of getting unstuck, that feeling of finally doing the thing, reminding myself that like there is relief in getting over that, and that yeah, I don't know. Anyways, there's a lot of applications in this space, right? The personal development, self-help, executive function application, that we've seen them all. The most recent, I feel like one that I got I forgetfully I executive dysfunction my way into paying an annual subscription to is Finch. I don't know how many of you have Finch. I'm not using my Finch anymore. I think my Finch is dead. But it's like the virtual pet sort of go at it. It mirrors your self care. Had I think 3 million a month in revenue in the most recent reports. And it's this like Tamagotchi sort of pet model. It works because you're offloading your will to survive into a cute little penguin thing. Um, you're taking care of something else. It's the externalization of self care, and the gamification of self care. Neopet or Tamagotchi, yeah, exactly. But like Neopets, like I don't know, they don't starve to death, but they get really mad at you. Finches don't I don't know, don't seem like affected by whether I want the like maybe this is like the brutalist dark design part of me, but I want the finch to die if I don't drink enough water, right? I like with Tamagotchi, like your Tamagotchi would shit all over the screen and then become a skeleton, right? I don't know if y'all remember this. Maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but your Tamagotchi would die if you didn't take care of it. If you were bad at playing Oregon Trail, everybody would get dysentery, right? We need to teach the kids lessons again, right? So maybe that's with this app. I don't know. Timo is another one, or Timo. It won iPhone App of the Year in 2025. I've never heard of it until I was doing research on the slides today. It's a visual planner, icons, timers. It's specifically for neurodivergent users. iPhone App of the Year. Is this a thing? Am I getting trolled by the iPhone store? We will never know. Goblin tools. We see them a lot in our job stand-up and in other classes. It's just a little task breakdown. You get these like magic to-do list. breaks overwhelming tasks into small steps, right? And it does that well, right? So then you have structured, another timeline planner, 15 million plus downloads, Focus Mate, which is like virtual body doubling, right? Accountability sessions, and there's a bunch. Is anyone using any like self-help personal development apps at the moment? Feel free to share in the box or mic up. Anybody using any self-development applications? The gamified one. Yeah, there's Finch, and then there was one that was like an RPG. Um, Habitica, maybe, are you talking about? Um, yeah, Habitica, like, I I tried it. I think there's like this self-reporting. I want these applications to like tell me something I don't know about myself, right? And I think like it's um all right, so this is something that I've been wanting to build for a while, and why I think it's important. You know, we can go back a couple slides to take the pressure off our partners, and thinking about Focus Mate, thinking about the people in the class out there who use Multiverse Campus as like a body doubling functionality. Um, Group based accountability. Your partner should be able to hold you accountable, right? Your partner can hold you accountable better than a Tamagotchi can, right? Um, Better than filling out like D&D character sheets in Habitica for your different boss battles of life, like get a job, that's a dragon or whatever. I'm butchering how Habitica works, but that's kind of like the gist, right? um, Other people, the people that you're closest to, would probably be pretty solid at making tasks for you or habits for you, if you gave them that power. Um, that's why we have this sort of like desire for problems that things like open claw or these kind of like superpowered LLMs, sycophantic LLMs, assistant LLMs can fix, right? But we've seen it time and time again. When you give your life's access to the LLM, it's only a matter of time before it's like sharing secrets, API keys, and just wrecking your stuff. So take the pressure off our partners. Maybe that's part of the application, right? Maybe your partner, there's like dual accounts where you basically decide the habits for each other, or you can verify if this person completed this task, right? Because if I wanted to, I could get my Finch all the nicest Finch clothes and just lie about drinking water and exercising and saying affirmations in a mirror, and my Finch is going to have all the Finch tokens. It's going to have fairy wings. It's going to have magic staff. It's going to have the nicest mid-mod furniture in its little Finch nest. And there's something about that just like the fact that you could so easily hack the system uh, is that's what makes these apps not fun to me. They're glorified to-do lists, but also like if you had a to-do list that like you got tiny little shots of dopamine for checking things off that you didn't do, like it's like checking off a task that you didn't do, right? And there needs to be some sort of celebration that's associated with it too. So we do want you to get dopamine when you do the task that you've been putting off, right? Is that dark design? No, that's kind of neutral. Maybe light design to make people feel good when they do the things that they have set out to do in their life. Um, so yeah, on that note, we've tried these apps. What were those pain points? Why didn't they work? What did work about them? Feel free to chime in here. We all have our like self help app graveyards. What apps work for you? What apps are you still using? What apps would you gladly pay a subscription for? Um, what didn't work was taking forever to input what I did and remembering to sign in. Therein lies the reason for a intuitive login slash notification system, right? We don't want to spam users, but like uh, I don't know. Like Finch is doing this annoying thing to me where my Finch will be like, "Are you okay?" Like halfway through the day, and I'm like, "I'm fine, I'm fine," you know. Um, but it's not helpful, you know. Screenshots would be much easier. Oh yeah, maybe you like write out your to do list. Get the body brain connection, and then you take a picture, or yeah, yeah. Any sort of app integration could be helpful too. Uh, Somebody just downloaded Goblin Tools yesterday and is trying it out. Very cool. Um, yeah, these are good ideas. Like thinking about these applications, what makes you try the application? Like even thinking about sort of like the promotional content that caught you, or maybe your friend invited you to Finch through their link, and you got like a free pet or something. Um, uh, but what made you stop using the app as well? You know, what complicated it for you? Were there too many notifications? Was it spammy? Were there not enough notifications? Did it make you feel guilty? You know, when we act completely off of people's like guilt and shame, um, those are dark design patterns that can drive people away from using your app, right? Um, and we're kind of like trying to think here about what sticks for these applications. So if somebody's saying I've used the same app for 2 years, you got to ask them why. You know, that's the sort of like golden nugget. We're thinking about this from kind of a sentiment. Uh, we're doing like research on ourselves essentially. But like, why do those apps work for those people? There's an app that I use called Grounded, which is like a self development app that is just a simple day tracker for abstaining from gardening, uh, and it's helpful because sometimes you gotta abstain from gardening. In my personal uh, gardening habit. So that's a little. It's just a simple tracker, you know. Uh, so we could easily build a time tracker, but we want to do more than that. Um, anyways, second. You go back when you get rewards for tracking. Yeah. So the stuff that nobody really says when they're building these apps, or when we're looking at these apps. You know, we hear all the good things, but I'm not trying to dwell on this too much to bum y'all out. but most of these apps don't really have evidence that they work, right? Um, like we should know what's going on, uh, but uh, there was a review of 109 of these like personal development habit tracking applications, um, and 0 in 109 of these applications um, provided scientific evidence for efficacy, right? Uh, which means that the apps don't do anything um, scientifically, you know, that can be measured. Uh, uh, but tools designed for people who actually need them show up at the right moment. Uh, uh, they do show real results, right? So a 2023 review found uh, uh, medium to large effects for clinical populations. An 8-week study in Frontiers in Education found that gamified tools improved real outcomes and that the improvements stick. Um, the framing is important here, right? So it's tools over application, right? We're not going to pretend that our app is curing anything, right? Uh, we're gonna build a tool that might help somebody get through a hard day, right? And that's kind of enough, um, right? It's the applications themselves just are not the cure all that people are looking through. So looking for. So whoa, the background on this is screwed up. Let me see if it fixed this. Here we go. All right. So yeah, here's some references if you want to like dig into some people that I've read and watched that can be helpful. Dr. K, it was cheesy at first, and I felt like I don't want to listen to this guy. But his content is on YouTube, super accessible. He's been through a lot of this himself. He runs kind of executive function coaching groups. Talks a lot about like gaming addiction and sort of like the weird sort of dark design of the internet at the moment. Kind of like man centric, male centric. Yeah, start with his YouTube. It's accessible. It's nice. Brene Brown, her audiobooks, her kind of like self help lit is about shame and strength and bravery and like accountability. She has a podcast with Emily and Amelia Nagoski, and yeah, the key ideas that they touch on, I think, is about like burnout, right, and how your stress response is a cycle. So just removing those stressors doesn't so much complete the cycle, but your body needs to process that through movement somehow, breathing, crying, creative expression. Um, so an app that only manages tasks for you but ignores how you feel would be missing sort of the solutions that we're looking for. There's Dr. Gloria Mark from UC Irvine. They have I think it's a YouTube video. It's not maybe a TED talk. But they're talking about like how you need at least 23 minutes to refocus or like have this like sort of like period of refactoring after you're interrupted. So that average screen attention span is getting less and less, right? Around 47 seconds at this point. So data like this is useful context for why these like notification heavy, sort of like hyper gamified applications can backfire. So, a constraint, right? If using the app requires executive function, we kind of have failed, right? This is the design principle for the whole week. So if using the app requires executive function, we failed. What does that mean, right? That means if somebody has to navigate clunky menus, remember to open the application itself, figure out a complex interface, configure settings, we've already lost the people that we're building for. We are building for ourselves, but we're also building for the goldfish brain, right? Which, like the question on screen right now is real, right? How do we make something simple enough for your worst day, but smart enough for it to actually be useful? So we're gonna go into actually setting up the votes for some of this stuff. But I want to kind of open the floor, get our juices flowing. What would this look like? What's the simplest version of building for this problem that could actually help? I'll let y'all riff for a sec as I set up the ranked choice votes that we're about to do. So, how do we build for uh, not requiring executive function within an app about executive function? And think about this for a moment. All right. Let the person upload a to-do list and brain dump. Yeah, yeah. I think the sort of brain dump, the meta brain dump of it, could be helpful. So what we're gonna do now is go to ranked choice votes. These polls will be open until tomorrow before class. So after class today, your homework, or if you're watching this async on Tuesday, March 10th, your homework is to look at these active polls within the democracy ranked choice voting application and either add your own suggestions or vote on suggestions that have already been made. So the first question that I've added is, how do users interact with this thing, right? Poll one is sort of the biggest decision, right? It's going to shape how this whole architecture is, right? If we're going the SMS route, if we're going like texting people to notify people, it's complicated. That would take out a front end. It makes it kind of conversational. If we have AI built into the app, that adds another layer of complexity. If there is some sort of like web app associated with it, how do users interact with this thing? Does it check in with you? What do the notifications look like, right? And I know this seems basic, like, wait, I thought it was just an app. But an application can be a bunch of different architectures. So we kind of need to nail this down. Is it a application that is like on your phone, right? Is it like Finch? Is it a website that you go to, right? From what we've been talking about, it sounds like we're going website, or we're going web app or application on this. We probably won't have time to get this cleared through the Apple Store or Google Play. So probably building it into a progressive web app. We'll talk about what that is. But uh, I'll seed that right now as a choice. Progressive web app. Uh, Text only could be a thing. Website. Cool. So if it were a progressive web app, it could be like a website and an application at the same time. So accessible through a website, then you add it to your home screen. It becomes a little app icon. It makes it really easy. But that's a basic vote. Next question: what is the AI personality? Um, is it you know gentle? Is it David Goggins style, calling you the B word. Like, like what do we want from this app? Um, and I will set up that poll too. 2026. Uh, um, and then poll three. What do we build first? What are we gonna start building tomorrow? And there's a lot of places to start. I know you probably want me to tell you what we're gonna build first, but I like just feeling out the vibe for this one because this is an app about executive function. And what would an app about executive function built by people who struggle with executive function look like, you know? Let's reel it in. Let's test our own ability to executively function on things, right? And then the last question, what do we call our executive function app? Come up with some cool names, please. Uh, I mean, they don't have to be cool. They can be bad. Cool. All right. So yeah, go to this link. You should see the things there. Um, oh, somebody says Mufasa with a bit of Jocko. Yeah, yeah. That could be a good. That could be a good application. Oh, is there an SDLC class today? Fun. Uh. Anyways. Oh no, this is our SDLC moment. Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. So tomorrow we're gonna build the thing. Uh, Today, get to that link and start voting on things. Again, the link address is here and here. Um, Seed your own suggestions. Suggest your own things for the poll. You can vote until 8 o'clock, or you can add suggestions until 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific tomorrow. And you can vote or update your ranked choice vote until 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. This is going to dictate what we're building. Uh, I just wanted y'all to be a little bit more of the foundational process of that. If you want to go deeper before tomorrow, uh, get down on the sort of executive function YouTubes, right? Uh, try a few of the apps from slide 7. Get on your Finch app, see what works, see what doesn't work for you. Anyways, I know it was a lot of executive functioning and thinking about executive functioning. So take deep breaths in, out. We are going to build this thing. It's going to be awesome. We're going to build it together. We're going to hold each other accountable to building it. And yeah, digest it. Don't burn out before tomorrow. We're gonna be here tomorrow, right? All right. It was fun. I will stop the stream now, and I will see all of you.